Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Dan Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined as always by Dan O'Shea and Tony Casper, Dan Beebe as well. Tonight we have guests Chuckles, and hey, we found Nate.
Hey guys, thanks for the invite. Glad to be here.
Oh, Mr. Michigan, we're glad you're here too.
Hey, I'm here to chew bubblegum and talk smack about Ohio State, and I'm all out of bubblegum, so.
Oh, all right. Well, for those of you who don't know, we start off every show with a poem. Tonight we got a lot of fun that we're going to be doing. We're going to talk college football. We're going to talk NFL. We've got our mid-season NFL awards that we're going to talk about, and there's a lot of controversy there because no one can agree on who is what this year. So we're going to have a lot of fun talking about. But first, time to get depressed. Poem this week. So I was wrong. Penn State lost. It was in poor decision making that the game was cost. All of their problems I could easily fix. But McSorley and the option, they just don't mix. Trace has to throw the ball but make smarter plays, especially when Barkley isn't having his way. And that defense was awful, straight up bad. That was the worst performance that they could have had. The line couldn't block. Man, that injury hurt. That was the catalyst for the Buckeyes' spurt. How will this affect Penn State's playoff dream? Will it be ripped apart at the seams? Will it be the same situation that we saw last year? I'm prepared for misery and ready for tears. Although I am curious how this all goes, because what makes a playoff team? Not even the selection committee knows.
Very true. The playoff committee was kind of interesting last night and where they put teams. I'm not overwhelmingly surprised though.
That's a good point. That's what we're going to be talking about next. NCAA Top 25. Number 1. This is the official college football playoff. We're no longer using the AP rankings. Yep. College football playoff rankings. Number 1, Georgia. Anyone surprised? Yeah.
A little.
Just a little bit.
Number 2, Alabama. Number 3, Notre Dame. Number 4, Clemson. Number 5, Oklahoma. Number 6, Ohio State. Number 7, Penn State. Number 8, TCU. Number 9, Wisconsin. Number 10, Miami. Number 11, Oklahoma State. 12, Washington. 13, Virginia Tech. 14, Auburn. 15, Iowa State. 16, Mississippi State. 17, University of Spoiled Children. 18, Central Florida. 19, Loser State. That's LSU. 20 is NC State. Stanford at 21. Where the hell did Arizona come from at 22? Mm-hmm. Memphis at 23. Michigan State at 24. And Washington State at 25. First of all...
Wait, where's Michigan?
Oh, they ain't on there!
Oh, no. The season's a wash. The season's a wash. Harbaugh's going to buy some more khakis, and we'll get it back next year. He needs more khaki power. He needs to...
No, he's done with the khakis. He needs to take the advice that he gave that 5-year-old kid and just drink more damn milk.
He needs to do something.
Then he needs to recruit a quarterback.
Yeah, well, that too. He's got to do something or run back to the NFL. It's going to be one or the other. That's what I see for him, but I'm pulling for him. I have confidence, but yeah, thanks Tony for that jab.
All right,
that's what I'm here for.
First question I've got: is Georgia really deserving of number 1, or should it be Alabama, or should it be anyone else that is in the top 25 or outside the top 25? If you want to make the argument that Illinois should be number 1, you're an idiot.
Bad argument.
Yeah, you're an idiot. But I hear it. I'll listen.
Good uphill battle there.
I think you can take away a couple of things from the college football committee's decision making here. One,
first of all, how does Ohio State beat the number 2 team in the nation and not move up? That's the first question I've got.
Not only that, they are below Clemson, who lost to Syracuse, which is not...
Who lost to Middle Tennessee State.
Yes.
But if you're going to call it a bad loss and penalize Ohio State for a bad loss, what they're claiming is a bad loss to Oklahoma, how can you sit there and not put the same weight to Clemson losing to Syracuse.
It was on the road. That's their argument. It was on the road.
Okay, I get that. And the other thing is, if you look at the Oklahoma game, they scored an extra touchdown in garbage time when the game was already won. So the blowout that they're claiming isn't as large as it really was in the game. But they sent a message to Ohio State that they're going to have to win out here, which I think if Ohio State does with another win against Michigan State, if they can go to Kinnick and win, and if they can beat Wisconsin in the title game, that should be enough to vault them. I mean, you can't tell me that Oklahoma didn't have a worse loss when they lost to Iowa State to a third-string quarterback, a quarterback playing linebacker.
No. A linebacker playing quarterback.
Yeah, both. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can't tell me that wasn't a bad loss for Oklahoma. I mean, Iowa State was not ranked, and none of us going into the season, I don't think a single one of us said that Iowa State was going to be good this year.
I think I had them at going like 6-6. Well, 6-6.
But that's kind of where we thought they were going to be. No one saw them being this good. I mean, that's why I had put in the argument that Matt Campbell deserves to be Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
And I think that the selection committee showed that what we talk about all the time in these overwhelming your schedule with cupcakes, they sent a message to Alabama. You can't do that. Even though you haven't lost, and Alabama probably should remain where they are because they haven't faltered, Georgia's played a tougher team so far.
I'll tell you why Georgia's number 1 and Alabama's number 2. Alabama didn't play last week.
Well, that doesn't help their argument.
Yeah. Georgia destroyed Florida.
Yep.
Kirby Smart, for the record, has said it means nothing. But, I think he's going to become like the next Dark Lord of college football. Maybe replace, maybe be the Vader to Saban's Palpatine.
It's
possibly
possible.
overthrow him.
I can't. I don't mind Kirby Smart nearly as much as I mind Nick Saban.
I mean,
can we say that now?
Can we wait? In all honesty, can we all agree though, no matter what you think about Penn State, that of all of the big schools, James Franklin is the nicest, most likable coach?
Yeah, I guess.
You're asking him to say something positive.
I mean, he's a good coach and he's very select with his words. That being said, his whole play 6 seconds at a time didn't exactly work because towards the end, those 6 seconds started to be tiresome as.
Towards the end, Trace McSorley forgot how to count to 6.
Well, the one thing I noticed from the game is that Ohio State did one thing and one thing only on defense. Sell out to stop Saquon Barkley. And when that didn't work on kick return, they went out of their way to make sure. They're like, we'll give them the ball at the 25, 30-yard line. Just do not put it in his hands.
Oh, my God. It was crazy. Dan O'Shea and I, we were messaging back and forth the entire game. Dan Beebe was here. How many touchdowns does Penn State have if Trace McSorley pulls the ball out of Saquon Barkley's hands? At least 3 more. At least 3 more on
he made
punts.
the wrong choice on the option.
On every option.
Times in a row. Had he handed off this time, he gets a 20-yard gain instead of getting sacked. Had he kept it this other time, he gets a touchdown instead of a run up the middle for -1 yards. It was just it was unbelievable that you can just get it wrong every time.
The refereeing in that game was extremely head-scratching to me because some calls they were calling and then the same thing would happen and it's like, all right, no flag now.
Here's what I think happened. I think they called a bogus pass interference against Ohio State, so the refs were like, we got to give one. We've got to give them one, and then we're going to cut that. So then Penn State got their bogus pass interference, and then they just stopped calling it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I think there's sorry, we messed up, we got you.
Yeah, and that's just a terrible way of officiating. You can't do that. You just have to kind of, admit to yourself that you're wrong and move on. You can't. That's an eye for an eye. It's like an eye for an eye. You can't go around doing that.
No, I don't agree with it either.
If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. Don't try to take it out, on the other team.
Or make up for it somewhere else with another call.
You really don't know when a decision like that is going to alter the game.
It's not how I like to see, officiating go. Even being, even benefiting from that. I wouldn't want to see that as a player.
I can honestly say, as a Penn State fan, Penn State of all sports is my favorite team. Penn State football is my favorite team in all sports. The refs did not cost that game.
No, I
bad decision making at the quarterback part is what did. First of all, it's 3rd and 1, and you're launching it to the end zone. I know Saquon Barkley's not working, but Mike Gesicki is. Best tight end in college football's working. Deshaun Hamilton's working pretty well. You didn't even throw at Saeed Blacknall at all. What? Saquon Barkley, have him run a wheel route. There's no corner.
Or a screen or something. Yeah,
there's switch it up. There's no corner in the Big Ten that can shut down Saquon Barkley. Not a single one.
No, probably not in the Big Ten.
Why was he not in the passing game?
He should have been in the passing game. The other thing that kills me is where'd your defense go in the fourth quarter?
The play calling was all over the place on both sides of the ball for Penn State.
I don't even think
midway through the third quarter, it started to really go downhill. As I said,
when the left tackle got hurt,
because
then they had to pull. They pulled their right tackle to play left tackle. They moved their right guard to play right tackle, and then
your backfields. Every play within 2 seconds.
I mean, is this not eerily reminiscent of last year?
It is.
A catalyst. I mean, in this game, it happened to be an injury to the offensive line instead of a blocked field goal. Although there was a blocked punt that
Well, you don't want to have to reshuffle. Certainly not against a D-line like Ohio State's. Not mid-game. You don't want to do that. There are just certain D-lines you don't want to do. You don't want to do that against Michigan's D-line.
No, Michigan's D-line was absolutely not a problem.
Well, not anymore they're not, but they were in the beginning. They were supposed to be one of the best D-lines in the country. But, I mean, that... Clearly, now it seems like their players are like, oh, F it, we'll play next year.
Yeah. Red shirts!
That being said, I do like these games happening like this. I want to see close Ohio State Michigan games. I want to see close Ohio. I want to see Michigan and Penn State be close. I want to see Wisconsin get into the mix. I want Ohio State and Penn State to be the rivalry it's supposed to be. Let's elevate the talent because the Big Ten is better than the SEC.
The big issue that I have with the way the Big Ten is set up is there's absolutely no reason why Notre Dame's not part of the Big Ten.
I agree with you.
There's
they
no
should be
reason.
In the same conference with Wisconsin. At least give Wisconsin something to worry about. They go into the Big Ten playing, and they're like, who do they have to worry about in their half? Who?
Normally, Nebraska's not bad. Minnesota is usually kind of decent.
Yeah, but it's not. If you look at the divisions, if you look at the divisions, they clearly have the easiest pass every year in the Big Ten. Clearly, in comparison, because you have Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan all in the same conference.
In Michigan State,
and Michigan State. Okay, so you put all the big boys in one, and it's like
Penn State plays Michigan State.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I'm not worried about Penn State in the slightest. In fact, I think Penn State is going to go out and slaughter Michigan State.
At home?
No. What?
With Michigan State at home, right?
Yeah.
Going to have to go in there.
East Lansing is not the easiest place to go.
It's not Kinnick and it's not the Horseshoe.
That's true. I mean...
There's plenty of times Michigan's gone in there all
confident. And here's the thing, though. Michigan State's a rivalry. And how many times has Michigan gone into Michigan State being embarrassed? Penn State wants to go in there and just raise all kinds of hell.
Oh, they want payback for that 1 point loss. They're gonna, and quite frankly, they have to do it if they want their playoff hopes to stay alive. They have to beat teams in badly.
I'm not saying
this game is huge.
I'm not saying it's going to happen this way, but don't be surprised if Saquon Barkley and Trace McSorley go in with the attitude of we're not going to let up at all, and they go in and they win by 40. Like I said, not saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Yeah, then they just got to keep that up the rest of the season, not let the fire die.
After Michigan State, it's Maryland, Indiana, Rutgers.
Rutgers, better watch out.
New Jersey represent.
I will say with the college football committee, playoff committee, to be honest, Oklahoma's the biggest shock. Not just because of the loss to Iowa State, but look how badly they played against Texas. What was that game? 14-7. Texas should never.
No, it was a 1 point game, wasn't it?
It wasn't good. It wasn't a good showing by Oklahoma, and Texas isn't nearly as good of a team as people thought they were going to be.
Yeah, what?
Not to mention Oklahoma's got a tough enough schedule as it goes down. They very likely could lose to TCU or Oklahoma State this weekend.
Here's the thing that I have. People are talking about Notre Dame being the best one-loss team. I can think of 3 one-loss teams that I think are better than Notre Dame.
I think
Penn State is better. Ohio State is better. TCU is better.